Hey guys, today is episode 48 on all kinds of classics. We are now getting into fabricating modifications for the Hemi induction system. So, in this video, we're looking at an adapter plate that I'm making to a Hemi heads 4-barrel intake manifold. The mechanism of induction or of air introduction into this manifold is a TBI, a throttle body from a 2000 Dodge Magnum 5.2. I opened it up in the last video, opened it up to a little over 2 inches on each bore, and that's the max I could have gone with it. And on this one now, I'm fabricating the adapter plate and hogging out the holes for the fuel injectors. So port fuel injected, 331 Hemi. There's a little bit in here about opening up the intakes on the cylinder head to port match to the intake manifold. So this is pretty interesting, doing the machining and getting things kind of ready to roll for the top end of the engine. So enjoy the video, have fun, like, subscribe, ring the bell, and please give me your comments. Enjoy. Hi guys, here we are again. Piece of 1.5 inch billet. That doesn't necessarily mean that'll be in fact, it won't be the finish height because I'll be facing it, but excuse me, I'm starting on the construction of the bottom first. So that's the base that is going to somewhat mirror that, much what mirror that. And so I just getting dialed in on the mill and making sure that I can get the look that I want. So the nice thing about aluminum is you can move a lot of material fast. So basically this is the drawing that I made. I'll turn off that layer. Okay, so that's what I'm working on right now. And I just pull my dimensions and then do that step like I did the front and the back first, and then I dimensioned out to do the two sides, and I can erase some dimensions at this point. But now I'm going to go to work on the 4 bolts and the plenum. So over the top of it then. Whoops. So over the top of it is the 2 holes for the throttle body and the 4 bolt holes, and then a lot of material that I can play with. But you can see the outline of the throttle body in the blue line. That's going to be the finished side, so that I cleared the throttle blade and all that stuff. So again, how deep that step is TBD. Right now I'm milling. This is a 1/2 inch right here, and so all this material in the vise will be gone. I'll mill down to this when I flip it over, but I'm building that outside shape first. So, and it's going very well. It's actually going just spectacular. So it just takes a while to mill out a chunk of aluminum when you don't have a CNC. I got my display, but anyway, keeping on. Well, I'm starting to change the oil on the wife's car now, so thought I'd get a quick video in. Got all my locating holes. They're at 5/16. They need to be oversized, but I'm not going to 3/8, and that's all I have end mills for. But they're ready to go for the drill press. I still have to, I got boogers here and that. I still have to clean the sides. I clean the ends, but I still have to clean the sides. But I'm going to get material out of the way first. So This side is done other than facing. I'll face it before I flip it. Maybe I'll get in there and just clean those. The thing is I'm still gonna have to probably, I don't know what taper or what angle I'm gonna go at to get down to those center holes, even though they're on that center line. So I'm stopping right there, and I'll have to come in and dress it up. But at this point, that's all fine, because I can get all hand polished in that. These outside radiuses, those I'll have to do, by hand. Other than that, it turned out really nice. It's 1/2-inch material here. Gonna flip it over, like I said, and then start milling the other side after I surface this. There we go. More later. Well, would you look at that? Oh, that was a project, but it's not done. But he sits on the carb adapter. That one bolt will clear. The bolt head will clear. That bolt head will clear. So she'll have to be threaded down, of course, into there. It's hard to see. You can see the holes there. I just got it setting on there, but you can see a hint of the holes. These that are through the body, you can't. These that are, like that. You can. But boy, it turned out nice. It looks nice. Looks high-po. And let's take it apart and see. Okay, so we saw the throttle body. 2-inch hole saw. Now these are 206 or whatever the conversion is for. Yeah, I can't remember. Anyway, these are a little undersized because I used a hole saw. And I plunge down to this surface right here, because then I have that 1/2 inch for when I draw these out. So these are down 1/4 inch. But I'll find that hole on this side, and the diameter of the hole, these are like 188 or 190 in width, and then those are 206. I keep wanting to say 206. I believe they're 206. So I know I got like a 1/2 or an 1/8 inch taper, and I've only got 300 thou here, not even 300, about 1/4 inch here. So once I clean it up, so I want to sneak up on it a little bit, and I did pull it out of the mill. I surfaced this and then I put it on. I wanted to test it, and then I had to relieve these out. Originally this was going straight across, and I undercut just a little bit on this side, but that'll block out. That'll block sand out. But it looks really good. Very happy with it. Very, very, very happy with it. Now these are 5/16 for a 5/16 bolt, and of course that isn't good enough. I got to oversize it a 64 to probably maybe even a 32nd if I need to get it aligned, because this, these clearly aren't exactly the same. So when I get that done, I did get a gasket, but I don't like the fact that center section is open. But when I do get it all done, I'll transition it properly, so there's no sharp edges. But yay, golly, that was a project. That was a project. It's fun though. I actually am enjoying it. So, well, the next thing on the list is dinner, and then hopefully tomorrow, I finish. Well, now the scariest part, but it's going okay. You can see the eyebrow of the saw cut hole right there. and I'm plunging down, 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 down. It just so happens to be 145 degrees is the magic. Basically what I did was I took my data points and transfer them over to a side view. So, come on. Let me get on the screen. Come on. Okay, to a side view of the throttle body. And I arrived at 100 and, well, now I got to zoom back in. Come on. My hands are so fully. $145.51. So I just set that up at 145, and I'm just manually cutting, so you can see just a little bit of shine on here where I'm just touching, but I'm just following and following and following, and then I'll clean all that up afterwards. But I'm getting 99% of the material out of it. So I'll do this pocket, that pocket, flip it over, and do it the other way. So that's what I've got. And I finished drilling the holes out. The holes are through for the carb mount. I got that left, radius everything, and then tap the holes with a blind tap, because of course those holes there, they would go into here. So we're just missing them. All right, thanks. More later. All right, I'm nearing the end. You can see I've got the threads cut. I got the surface finish started. I've got to finish this surface. Just chase around it. I think I'm just going to chase around it and take a couple thou off. So I get more of a finish cut, and then I got to fix that vacuum leak. And I got to fix that vacuum leak. So what had happened was I chucked this up at 145 degrees. Okay. Plunged these two sides. Then I got this crazy idea that it's a lot faster if I dig, and that's fine. That's fine. I was digging right here. I was at 145, so I was perpendicular, which is all good and dandy. And I cut into this side quite a bit farther. But then I reset up, flipped it around, right, so I can get more of a rounded edge. You can see the surface finish. And started plunging, but I said, I want a steeper angle. But I meant this. Because I took some of this, I went out about a millimeter and a half, so he is a little oblong up there. And it's not that big of a deal. And it's knife edged, which is probably good. And, all that. I've got a good half of an inch of thread depth on there. So I'm capturing my threads, and I'm not overly concerned about it. Okay, that's all good. But this I am. That's 3/8 of an inch. So there's a 5/16 bolt laid in there. Yeah, it's more than 3/8. So I'll run a bolt down into here, steel bolt, and then lay in a weld. Just lay it in and lay it in and lay it in. And then come back and do that side again. It's unfortunate, and then I'll have to, of course, get in here and run the mill across there and clean that up. It'll be fine in the end. It'll all dress out and that kind of thing, but geez. So now I'm on a standstill on this, but that's fine. I'm getting kind of sick of it, and I got mostly cleaned up, but I got a lot of cleanup to do over there still. So I'm just letting that floor dry. It's just so much easier when the floor dries back some to clean it up. So we're idled on that. Now I'm going to grab the intake manifold gaskets, finish up the port matching on the intakes on the head and to the manifold, and just make sure I've got everything good to go that way. So I'll begin that project. Got to go about 5 days before I'm going to have a friend of mine TIG weld it. My TIG welder is not a TIG welder, it's a MIG welder. My spool gun works with my old welder, not this welder. So I can't MIG at the moment, welder, and I can't TIG because it's not AC. So and TIG is AC on the aluminum. So Mike, a friend of mine, is just gonna blast it out this weekend, this coming weekend. Okay, thanks. Continuing to work through my issues of attention deficit disorder. Anyway, I got those blocked out again and resprayed. I am pretty happy with them. So that whole thing is over and over and over and over again. Baked them in the oven again, 350, 15 minutes. Shut the oven off. Just let them set in there for the rest of the day. Get all the VOCs and everything else out of them. And then got some office work done, but these heads have been sitting here for too long, so I jump on that. But you can see I'm working my way toward the gasket. You can see that there is a significant amount of interference right now. Marked it out, and of course the profile. This needs to be smoothed out. So I'm getting in there right now. I'm about an inch in there. It's about maybe 3/4 of an inch. The floor is about an inch in, and I'll just continue to dress it out. This is a water jacket, so I can get in and I can actually get my pinky on the port and feel around and make sure that I still have some thickness. I could even get in there with a piece of wire and make sure I do have thickness. So that's all fine. It looks like a shitload of material, but I'm kind of radiusing out and just trying to make sure I don't have major flow interruptions, major eddy currents created or turbulence created as a result of the process of bolting this on. Coming over by comparison then to the intake manifold, and I might have done this in another video. Just trying to get things lined up here as best I can. And you can see, it's just basically the gasket makes it pretty good there. The gasket makes a pretty good profile. So just cleaning that up. Intake manifold's going to take some machining too. I got those two ports that are on the front that are going to chase to the thermostat, but I'm going to drill one or both of those for temp sensor, and if I do run a heating system, I probably will run an HVAC system in here, so then I'll need to grab a line off of here and then through the core and then return back to the water pump. So, and I'm thinking maybe even I'm going to port another vacuum line into one of these runners too, just to make sure that I got hide as much of the PVC and vacuum lines as I possibly can that are required for the operation of the engine. So that's kind of what's going on right now, and I got to go to work. But the thing is, this is kind of long overdue, and I'm at that phase, and then these can get cleaned up and painted, which forces me to pick a paint color. But I did start chasing through the oil line. Got them sprayed down with WD-40 a little while back, and just making sure that they're good to go. Got the rockers and all that stuff in the solvent tank to make sure that I can start to rebuild those, and then eventually just get these assembled. So just odds and ends right now as I continue to wait for the pistons to come in and get the engine rebuilt, but getting as far into the process as I can. But it is the summer too, and I'm doing a multitude of things. So as I can get in here and poke around, I'll keep you posted with what I'm doing. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a great one. Okay, here we are. Got kind of a side-by-side. You can see it from the shine that there is a bit of a radius going back about 1/2 of an inch. Let me get a light on. Going back about 1/2 of an inch, and then smoothed into the wall. Look at the floor. Look at the valve floor. I mean, wow. I mean, you can get exposed about 1/2 of the valve right there before she turns. These Hemi heads, you know, they feel so damn good anyway. But the closest I can get, to get the light out of here, the closest I can get, you know, is a small reveal. I could probably clean up this side a little bit. Yeah, it looks like I can favor I didn't spend as much time on this side. So I can clean this side up a little bit. I'm getting a little bit nervous because, as you can see, that fit. Now I'm going to move the gasket down to the head that I haven't done. And you can see very, very, very clearly. That's a shitload of material. Okay? And you can appreciate the fact that I don't want to compromise the cylinder head. Even in stock form, those floors are nice. But we're making headway. Looking at the meat on the bottom compared to the meat on the bottom. You know, that's a good 1/8 of an inch. All the way around times 2, you know, 1/4 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch. I'm done. I'm done. I'll probably clean up the right side of each one of these ports. I just finished and I thought I'd get a quick video, and then I'll start on this head. But the casting obviously was shifted when they poured. Both of these were like that, and I cleaned up those edges on all of them. I think I got a little bit of shadow. No, I got the shadow out and everything out. So this is all 80 grit. I can come back and, you know, sand them out here with, I don't know, probably 120, something like that, just to kind of clean them up. They are the intake ports, but I'm happy with the results. And the intake sides, there's a little bit of rust, a hint of rust, because I didn't WD-40 them right away, but those were all done before I had the seats turned and installed. And, you know, whatever it was, 16 of them or 12 of them were new, 2 of them were good, that kind of thing. So in any event, there we are, making progress. We are making some progress. So thanks for your time. Done and done. What a fun project. But anyway, here's another view. You can, from the top of the port, you can see the whole valve opening. It's just unique for me because I'm used to looking at small block Chevys and Chryslers, you know, Chrysler LAs. But we've accomplished the task at hand. So I'm going to squirt that down with a little WD-40 and call it ready to roll. Reamer, you're nothing but a reamer. Got a little oil all over, but I finished reaming the holes. Now remember, these bungs started out like these, and located and pooped around, and then now remember, the angle of that bung is shallower on this side. It's got a slight eat because it's perpendicular to this surface. So I got a little eat on it. So when I surfaced it, it took more off of this side than it did off of this side. So what happened was, as I was going down, I surfaced it and I came back and then I put a pilot in it. And I was going to pilot drill, and I said, you know what? I don't need to pilot drill. I've got my DRO right there. It tells me exactly where I'm at. I'm going to plunge with a 3/8. Now this is 13.5 something millimeters for a 14 millimeter O-ring. And the bit was 33/64. So a little bigger than a half of an inch. So when I took my 3/8 in, just my end mill, I ran 3/8 down all four of them. Then I came back with a 1/2 inch and I didn't like it. The hole was offset because again I did this at an angle, so the hole was offset a little bit. So I visually recentered it because I had enough, no material. I knew it was on one side and what was on the other. And I was able to hit it. This casting isn't the same. Well, you can see, for example, I went straight across on the Y, and there's a little less material here than there. You get to this one, and he's pretty concentric, a little wider on the side, so on and so forth. But what was important is that line goes straight across. So I dialed in the manifold. I dialed in the manifold on the carb surface, actually. You can see a little bit of, but it came out perfect. I mean, literally, no exaggeration, it came out perfect. I stuck one of my injectors in, checked the depth. Where am I at here? There you can see him. I should have that light. Let me grab this light. There you can see him. I mean, that really, I'm really happy with that. I mean, I'm really happy with that. So I'm trying to get in there. I mean, that's gonna work out perfect. So next phase, of course, is to flip it over and do the other side. The thing is I took time. I got probably 2 hours into just dicking around here trying to get a rigid setup. You can see what I did. I welded up a brace, bolted these through, tightened that last, well, that and the base last, as I got the manifold straight, dialing off this surface. So it worked. It worked freaking great, and I'm very happy with it. So I'll get the other side, and then I can buy some fuel rail stock, use the same tool. The O-ring is the same on both sides. Probably have to get a new set of O-rings, but I mean, because this is all factory stuff. And then those guys will just sit right in there, beautiful. Clock, I don't know, whatever clock these were, whatever that looks pretty. So again, very happy with it. All right, so now I'm back into it. This is the welded up area. This is where I overcut. So he just built up that shelf. I cleaned up this side. It's got to be, taken down just like this, but that happens after the fact. And I'll have to clean up the outside again, which we knew. We had a big bridge, got a little weld nub right here, but I'll surface this. I'll finish this, surface this. You see a little bit larger hole. Well, when I put this in to protect the threads on the hole, and needless to say, it galled and pulled out. So I took a 7/16 fine threaded bolt, chucked it up in the lathe, drilled it, and tapped it to 5/16 and Loctited it in. You can see it right there. He's still standing off. When I come to clean the surface up, I'll clean him along with it. I'll touch it first, right? It's steel, but at this point I'm gonna get all this done. And I get frustrated sometimes. And then chuck them in flat, surface, right? Yeah, surface this whole side, flip it over, and then put the lipstick on the pig, put the gingerbread on the house. But I'll get this thing wrapped up here pretty quick.